Guys, it's December the 21st, 2024, and I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. It is freezing cold here in South Carolina. I'm trying to get my gloves on really quick. I had to start the camera and everything with my fingers, but now that I've got that started, I can get my gloves back on and get a little bit warm because it is cold here today. I think I got down in the 20s here last night, and for us here in South Carolina, that is cold. But anyway, it's been a kind of hectic day around here today. I have been speaking with tree services around here because the hurricane, when it came through, one of the trees that's right over top of this building here where I park my Jeep and my tractor and all that stuff, one of the trees got pulled up by the roots out of the ground, so it was like leaning over like this on top of my building. And the roots were exposed. I mean, it was just a matter of time. Just one big heavy gust of wind, and that tree would have fallen down on top of my building. But I spoke to multiple tree services and finally found somebody I was happy with. And they were supposed to come out earlier this week, and I never heard from them. Actually, he called me on Monday and said they were going to be out here this week, and I never heard from them. And I didn't want to bother them because I know they're busy, especially around here right now because of all the people who needed trees cut down because of the hurricane. But I called him yesterday afternoon while we were out running some errands, and the guy said, I'll be there tomorrow around noon. And about 11 o'clock this morning, I was walking outside to take out the trash, and the guy had called me and texted me a couple times. I just didn't see that he had called or texted me. I haven't really looked at my phone today. And came outside, and they were already getting started. They were supposed to bring a big piece of machinery out here to bring the tree down, but the guy said with my driveway the way that it is, that they decided to bring a climber. And the guy climbed up the tree and cut the tree down in sections. It was really neat to watch. I took a little bit of footage of it, and I figured I'd add it to today's video just so you guys could check it out. But I got a quote, and I asked them how much it would cost for them to haul the stuff off, and it was like twice the amount, and I just said, just leave it here. We already had so many other trees in the backyard that are piled up that we had to cut down from the hurricane anyway, or trees that fell down. I'm just going to use my tractor and pile it up back there with the rest of the stuff, and we'll deal with it at some point later on. It just wasn't worth me paying them that much money to haul it off. But anyway, now that I've talked about that for 2.5 minutes, what I wanted to talk about today is basically just a reason to stay sober. And, it's one of those things where I'm sure that most of the people on here at some point in their drinking has done something like this, but it's the embarrassing things we do when we're intoxicated. And it's just another reason to stay sober and a reminder of why you're not drinking today or why you're thinking about getting sober here in the near future. If today's your day, congratulations on day one, or if you're on 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever, wherever you're at in your sobriety, congratulations, because it's not easy, and I'm proud of you for where you've gotten. And today, what I want to talk about is just another reminder of why to stay sober and why you're not going to drink today. And that's the embarrassing things that we do when we get intoxicated. How many times have you done something that you regretted the next day after drinking? Just think about it. Think back in your past and think of those times or time that you did something that you embarrassed yourself. And, looking back on it now, you're like, golly, especially when you wake up the next day and you get those like little flashbacks and memories from the night before. I used to get blackout drunk basically just about every single night. But I would often wake up the next morning and have little snippets of memories that I would remember. And it wouldn't all happen at once either. It was like, I would wake up that morning, get my coffee or whatever I was doing, and then all of a sudden I'd get a little flashback memory of something from the night before. And then later on throughout the day, I'd get this little flashback memory, and it'd just be a little teeny snippet from the night before, a very blurry memory. But I would often remember embarrassing things that I had done or embarrassing things I had said. And I did that all the time. But like I said, just think back to something that you did embarrassing and use that for a reason not to drink today. You don't want to go back to doing that again, embarrassing yourself because you get so intoxicated. And I did this so many times. I mean, I could probably sit here for 12 hours telling you guys stories of things that I did when I was intoxicated that were embarrassing. Right off the top of my head, and I've spoken about this before, but it's probably one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done is at my brother's wedding. They told me that I had to get up and speak, and I was so entirely drunk. At my brother's wedding, my brother gave me a flask for being his best man, and it had my name engraved in it and all that stuff. And it was actually, when he gave it to me, it was filled with whiskey. So while we sat in the back in like the dressing room at the church before they got married, we were in the back taking shots of liquor out of flasks in the back of the church. And the preacher walked in, caught us in the middle of doing it. I continued to drink that whole entire day, and he fussed at us like, you guys can't have that stuff in here. And, of course, we put it away and said we wouldn't do it anymore. I continued to drink like that the rest of the day. Later on that night, at the party that night, I was tanked. I mean, and so drunk. And they were like up on the stage talking, and my wife looked over at me, and I remember her saying, you got to get up there and talk. And I was like, what? I got to get up there and say something? And she's like, yeah, you're supposed to get up there and say something. So I got up on the stage, and I told this really embarrassing story about my brother, embarrassed him. And all I have is like teeny little snippet memories of that. And I remember looking down at my brother and the look on his face, like, what are you doing? And that's all I really remember, is just looking over at his table as I'm telling the story, and just the look of like, just sheer embarrassment, and just like couldn't believe that I was doing what I was doing. And then after I got done, I dropped the microphone on the stage like an idiot and walked off. And it wasn't even my microphone, it was the DJ's microphone. I just dropped it on the ground like I was being funny, the little mic drop thing. I just walked off. And there's video of that, and I've talked about this, and I really don't want to ever watch it, because I can't even imagine what I looked like up there on that stage. I must have been, swaying back and forth and completely slurring my words. But I did stuff like that all the time. I mean, all the time. I used to say the most ridiculous things to people. I mean, just the most embarrassing stuff. I mean, I did it so often. And just looking back at that now, I'm like, I was such a different person back then when I used to drink. Just a complete different person. And now that I don't drink anymore, I would never even think of doing any of those kinds of ridiculous stuff that I used to do back in the day. It was immature, embarrassing, and just not my character. But that's who I became when I drank. And like I've said on here so many times, I thought that people liked to be around that guy, and they didn't. People didn't enjoy being around me. My wife, one of her co-workers, I used to be friends with her brother, and I haven't seen him in years. And my wife came home one day and said that they were actually talking about her brother, and because she had recently hung out with him the previous weekend. And I guess she was telling him, how sick I was and all the stuff that I've had going on with me. And he said, I had to stop hanging around with that guy because he was just way too crazy. I couldn't handle it. Which is insane, that people didn't even want to hang around with me anymore because I was that wild. And I was. When I say that, I'm not kidding, guys. I've talked about how I streaked down the middle of a 4-lane highway in the suicide lane. I ran like a quarter of a mile butt naked in the middle of traffic. I've done stuff like that just so many times. And like I said, I'm not that person anymore. And the reason I want to talk about this today is just to give you guys a friendly reminder of why not to drink. If you go to your family's house for Christmas and get intoxicated, you might embarrass yourself. You might say something that, could start an argument, and then, that can go on for years because of one incident. And why have that happen? When you're sober, what's coming out of your mouth. You're careful about what you say. And I know for myself, I try not to offend anybody or upset anyone. I try to stay as even keeled as I possibly can. But when I was intoxicated, it was like I looked to upset people. It was like something that I did. I was always trying to go against the grain and always trying to offend somebody or upset someone because I got a kick out of it. I got a kick out of the drama, I guess, when I was intoxicated. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I'm not that immature person anymore. I would never think of doing something like that ever again. But once again, that's why I'm talking about this today. Just think back to something that you did embarrassing and use that for a reason not to drink today and to stay sober. We're going to be in Christmas in just a couple of days. Christmas Eve is just a couple of days away. And like I said, the new year is right around the corner. If you're looking to get sober here soon, you can do it. Please speak with a doctor first and see what they say, because they might want to put you through a medical withdrawal. You know, just speak with your doctor and see what they think about it. And if they give you the go-ahead, you can do this. You really can. If I could do it, I was drinking a half a gallon of vodka every single day for like a decade, and I stopped. And if I can do it, so can you. I believe in you. Guys, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. I love y'all so much, and until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Go ahead and just give you guys a little view of the tree mess that we have here. Like I said, I'm gonna throw in that little video of the guy climbing up and cutting this down in sections. He was cutting off branches, I think, whenever I filmed it, but it's the mess right here. And they put the tree exactly where they said they were gonna do it, because my driveway is right here, and you can see right there is where the gravel stops and the dirt starts. And I mean, he put the tree down exactly where he said it was. And this isn't a little tree either. I mean, it's humongous. I mean, that's just the tip of it right there, but I mean, that's a big tree. This is my footprint. I wear a size 10.5, and I mean, that's a big tree. A bunch of branches here, but I'll get the chainsaw out and cut this up, and then use my tractor bucket and get my family. I can't lift anything, but I can get them to help scoot those logs into the tractor bucket and dump it in the backyard, where I have all the other stuff from the trees from the hurricane that we had come through here, because we lost a bunch of trees from that hurricane, and we've yet to do anything with all of this wood that's back here. We have a huge pile back here. I'll show you guys this pile of it's just a beautiful sky today. Absolutely beautiful, clear. It's warmed up a little bit since I filmed the other part of this video, but like I said, I'll show y'all part of what I got going on over here. As you can see, we have all this wood right here. I mean, it's a lot of wood. Something about all that here at some point, but I'm not worried about it right now. It's a bit of a mess, but at least nothing fell on top of our house. So there were a lot of homes that got completely decimated and destroyed from that hurricane. But now I don't have to worry about that tree falling on top of my building, because every time the wind blew, it scared me. I was like, this is going to fall. And you know how the insurance company works and all that stuff. You never get the money that you put into something. And I had that building built like right when we moved in here, so it was like 2020, and I got a really good deal on it. It was right at the beginning of COVID, and I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'll bet you that building's worth about 10 grand now. And you know, I would have had to put my $1,000 deductible down. I mean, I would have paid, you know, for having that tree removed anyway, because I would have had to pay the deductible. So it was worth just going ahead and getting it removed, and then not dealing with all the headache of having to have my building rebuilt and my Jeep repaired and all that kind of stuff. So it worked out in the end. But anyway, guys, that's it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.